Hello and welcome back to the Triforce podcast with me, Lewis, Pyrian Flax.
Hello.
And Sips.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hi.
So, Pyrian has new audio setup. I can
Yeah.
only hear myself echoing a little bit through his new setup.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is
there's
annoying.
no way. You shouldn't. Honestly, you shouldn't be able to.
I don't hear any echoing, Flax. Don't worry about
It
it.
doesn't sound any different, Flax, your new stuff. I must
It does.
admit.
He's a bit insecure about his audio setup, but that's par for the course with the new audio setup.
I wasn't insecure about it until Lewis berated me for
He's starting to
daring
make you
to
Go off
spend
piece.
money on things and buy stuff without bothering
Yeah.
the Yogscast about it.
Well, it was just like you were so. We've got all these guys here sitting around basically doing nothing, and you're like, okay, I'm going to spend a day researching my own audio equipment
Well, I don't want to
and
bother.
buying
I mean,
it and stuff.
geez, you guys, they're in the office. How would you feel if I just called up Sam? I need a load of help with my audio stuff. You'd think, what the fuck is Pyrian wasting my employees' time?
love
Why?
that.
Flax.
Because that's exactly what
I'm
you'd
gonna
be doing.
level with you, Flax. I email Sam like every fucking day asking him for shit.
I hate to bother people.
So why is that? Is that an English thing? Is that a British thing?
You're
Is that
also
a thing that you've
English.
got in your whole life? Because we're here to help. We're here to support you. That's the whole point of what we do here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I feel like the more we can help you, the better. I get pleasure out of being bothered by people and helping them do stuff.
I
You know?
always felt like I was a burden to you. Maybe it's the tone of your voice. I don't know. I
Are
always
you
felt...
like a gran and you're feeling, oh no, I can't. I don't want to burden the young with having to look after me. I'll just struggle to the shops on my own.
Yeah.
See,
Do you know what I mean?
where I come from, I feel like if you know a guy who goes to a personal trainer and says really outlandish shit to him all the time and is being like really antisocial with him and stuff, that's the kind of guy I want to burden. So I go out of my way actually to burden Lewis now.
I
probably
honestly
deserves it.
didn't even occur to me. I just thought I'd wing it.
No,
So-
but there's a whole structure set up so that you can get help and that it's like consistent and stuff like that. Like I agree with Lewis. You should talk to people first before you just go off the grid. Like you're not Neo from the Matrix.
Well,
so like,
he had help from Morpheus and
Yeah.
Trinity, remember?
yeah, he did. Yeah,
So I'm the opposite of Neo. I'm like one of the guys that's still stuck in the Matrix.
yeah.
But he's
Morpheus
trying to
sends you an email saying, "Hey, do you want some help with the Matrix, Neo?" And you're like, "No,
I don't want to bother you, dude.
I don't want to bother you, Morpheus."
Yeah,
Well,
I'm the
so-
Neo that's still stuck in the Matrix. Just like, I know there's a way
Yeah,
out.
you're still stuck in there because you refused to take the help when it was offered to you.
No, I didn't refuse to take the help. If I've been grumbling. Like my audio setup has been bad in terms of like it's actually on its way out. Like the
well,
equipment
wait,
was just
though you
dying.
had the Scarlett 2i2, right? And,
Yeah, and it was starting to go. Like
the
it was
Audio Technica BPHS1 headset.
the most uncomfortable headphones currently.
They take
the
some
known
getting
universe.
used to for sure. But,
Yeah.
And the thing is, once they get old, the plastic starts to creak. Like I had to
That's
chuck
exactly
mine out
it. Yeah.
because the plastic was creaking so much, it was actually picking it up in the mic. Like
Yeah. And the other problem I've got is the focus rate that I got, which is like the 2i4, after 4 hours and 3 minutes of streaming, consistently, the voice turns into a robot voice, only when streaming.
oh yeah,
And all I have to do is unplug it and plug it back in and restart Discord, and it's fine.
weird.
But it's one of those weird things where you think, why is that happening?
Yeah.
And I Googled it and I thought, is it me? And other people were like, how come after 4 hours of streaming the Focusrite stops working? And all that Focusrite say is, contact our technical support team. Now, whether they're contacting them and the technical support team says, can't do shit, please don't tell anybody.
But you tried ringing them up.
No, I'm going to give them a ring. Apparently they're in the UK, so I can give them a bell.
Yeah.
But
why don't you phone them now?
But no, we're not doing that again.
All right, okay. Well, hey, listen, I had an issue as well. Not like totally dissimilar to yours. I still use.
I don't know if people find this interesting or
I
not.
still
but we'll
use
find
the
out.
Scarlett 2i2 Flax, and
Right.
when I switched over from the office to the dad garage, obviously I had to reset up my rig and everything. I like to call it my rig because that sounds cool. But so I had to reset up my computer and everything, put everything nice and stuff. So I plug everything in, I get everything up and running, I download a bunch of new games and stuff, and I start recording. And I'm like midway through recording, and all of a sudden the audio just cuts out completely. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I have no game audio, so I have to like trash these recordings and stuff because everything is just going all fucking skewy and I can't do anything about it. So I'm looking, I'm Googling. I thought it was like a Windows driver issue. I downloaded all these drivers and stuff. I'm like fucking racking my brains and stuff. And then it turns out I had the Scarlett 2i2 plugged into a USB 3 port. And it was like overloading it somehow or something. And so I switched back to USB 2 and it's been totally fine since. So it's like, it could be like the smallest, dumbest fucking thing that is causing robo voice for you. And you'll find it one day and you'll be like, oh my God.
Is he actually looking?
That might be a USB 3 I've got it plugged into.
Yeah, if it's like the blue one,
you want to try one.
Okay,
put
try
it in a okay.
Try putting it into a non-blue one and see how you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do that. All right. Well, there you go.
No
That's
problem.
some
If anybody
troubleshooting.
else wants some tech support from me, I charge by the hour, but I'm available.
We didn't
tweet
agree a price.
At @sips_.
Yeah.
Usually that will get through to you eventually, won't it? You reply to most technical
he's
issues.
pretty good on
Absolutely. I love social media, so like I'm always looking for an opportunity to use it. So
I woke up this morning and I looked at Reddit, and the top of Reddit was Palace staff called to emergency meeting. Okay, Queen Elizabeth staff called to
Today?
highly unusual meeting. Yeah. And so it's obviously like the usual like scare of.
wait, how did they know though? Does that information get leaked or something, and then they report on like what little they know because it's like it sounds interesting or whatever? Is that how it
Well,
works?
because it goes to the front page of Reddit as a result, like
has it been like in the papers or anything, or is it like on the BBC News or anything like that?
No.
Oh right, okay.
No. It's just at the top of Reddit because Reddit loves to vote up these sensationalist nonsense. But I mean, there is like this interesting sort of thing that comes out of it, right? So when the Queen, if the Queen, it might not be the Queen, it might be like someone in the royal family or something else, but it's probably nothing. But the Queen is going to die at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's this sort of unusual sort of way of like telling the world and sort of there's like 12 days of mourning planned and they basically have to like interrupt all BBC programs to tell everyone and they have to tell everyone every 15 minutes.
She's
and they have
no
to play
spring
like
chicken though, like
like they have to put like funereal music on for like 12 days. Like they all the BBC comedy shows have to like stop for 12 days, at least political ones. Like all of the. It's really interesting, like how. All of these strange, it almost like goes back to the 1950s social norms.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Political TV shows have to stop for 12 days?
Well, like political, like comedy ones, like Have I Got News for You and stuff like this.
Oh, they can't joke about her. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if. Do you think people would make a joke about her being dead? Like,
dude, they joked about 9/11. Of course, they'll joke about the Queen being dead. Yeah, of course.
I guess maybe.
I mean, eventually, that's what comedy does, isn't it? That's what they said that in New York, like none of the comics wanted to touch 9/11 because even though they're comedians, they can think of funny things about terrible stuff.
Yeah.
None of them wanted to touch it because it felt like who's going to do it first? And eventually, some comedian, I'm not sure who it was, made this joke, and the audience was like, rather than going, "Hey, buddy, you can't joke about 9/11," they were like, they laughed because it was like finally you can start to rationalize it and start to think about it. And if you can't make fun about something. Jesus Christ, what is there that you can't make fun about? Name. I mean, there's very few things that aren't funny if it's done well.
Muslims.
I mean, I'm not just saying 9/11.
Baby slaying. You don't normally hear lots of jokes about a baby slayer. So
no, but you
that's
could definitely. I mean, you telling me that someone like Louis C.K. couldn't make a funny joke about pretty much anything?
Louis C.K. does
because
have
he's very,
the
very
ability.
good.
Yeah, he is very funny.
Yeah, but even he wouldn't just like start mocking like Islam publicly, would he?
Well, there's a difference between mocking it, where you just go, "I'm a Muslim," like that. Because comedy good comedy is not only funny, but it makes you think. Right?
Louis C.K. would sort of question it and then sort of lace opinion into it, kinda, and it would make it funny, like in a sort of it would take a little while. At first, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's touching the subject," and then by the end of it, you'd be laughing your balls off, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's pretty good at that kind
So
of
yeah,
stuff.
I think it was the same thing with. I mean, if the Queen dies, oh geez, they'll be able to make some jokes out of that. Come on.
Well, I mean, there's the thing with gallows humor too, right? Like I'm sure some people were making jokes about 9/11 as it was happening, and because that's how a lot of people, especially sort of in the emergency services, cope with this type of things. With people with very high stress jobs like surgeons and things, and people in hospitals, you see a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
They have to make a lot of jokes in order to actually.
Well, they do, but unless you're Nicolas Cage in that movie where he was an ambulance driver. He was not joking at all in that movie. In actual fact, I'd say it was like the complete opposite of having a laugh and a joke about a circumstance.
The humor was sucked out of
He was so fucking miserable. It was like, oh my God, it was hard to watch. He was so fucking miserable. I had to stop a couple of times and just like read a joke and like smell a flower and stuff just to remind myself that actually my life isn't that miserable, because holy crap.
Yeah.
He sucked me into a vortex in that movie. What the fuck was the name of that movie?
I can't remember. So what was it called?
Christ. I just thought
I'll look it up.
The sad thing for me about Nicolas Cage is that he's like a guy who's been told he's not allowed to be funny anymore, but he's still trying to be funny unintentionally by being so bad in so many things. But if you watch like Raising Arizona and some of his earlier roles, he was really good. Like, he was a good actor. He was very good in Raising Arizona, very funny. And then he did this really good, what was it? God, I can't remember. It was like a sort of modern American film noir, and he was excellent in it. And he was in a bunch of good stuff early on. It's like someone handed down this mandate from on high, like Satan. Like, he goes to see Satan,
right?
And I like, maybe he was ill or something. He said, "Oh, geez, Satan, I'm really ill. I need help." And Satan said, "Yeah, I'll save your life, but you're not allowed to have fun acting anymore. You have to pick the worst roles in the worst movies, and you have to act as badly as possible for the rest of your life."
But wait, he was in some pretty good ones too, though. Nicolas Cage has had some good ones. Like, he was in The Rock. That was pretty good.
Well, you got to understand that he had a big tax problem, didn't he?
Yeah, true.
Con Air was a good one.
It was
Remember
a bad
Con Air?
movie.
Come on, it wasn't bad.
It was a terrible movie. Have you seen it?
It wasn't terrible.
It was
terrible. It wasn't
terrible.
good either. It was somewhere in the middle.
Dude, come on. And the fucking Rock sucked ass. Terrible.
Oh, come on. The Rock
was a good laugh.
Average. It was like okay-ish.
Oh, vomit.
I mean, those were the golden years.
Those
of
were like
Cage.
his golden years.
No,
Yeah.
they were not his golden years.
What
right,
was that
him.
one
Let me
where
tell
he was
you.
in with Travolta and they swapped faces? Remember that?
Face Off. Terrible.
Awful. That was an awful one. But like, he was still pretty big at the time.
All right, here's some of his movies. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's a great movie.
Okay, I've never seen that one.
That is a genuinely great movie.
Okay.
Raising Arizona is a great movie.
That was from 1982.
Yeah,
Are we going through his entire filmography now?
He was hardly in it.
Raising Arizona, was Patricia Arquette in that one, or is that one with Christian Slater? I can't remember.
No, you're thinking of
Raising Arizona. Was he like an alcoholic? Like
No. That's
you can't count Fast Times
Wild
at
at
Ridgemont
Heart.
High. He played Brad's bud.
He was in it.
In that.
It was a good movie.
Hey, Brad's bud.
He was a good movie. All right, Raising Arizona. He was brilliant in that.
Ew. Sorry, so
my God.
he was in Valley Girl as Randy.
Oh my God, Randy! Have you seen Randy's testicles? Oh my God, they're disgusting. Why are they so misshapen? Ew!
I love that voice so much.
Oh
Sorry,
my God.
P-Flex, we're interrupting.
But this is it. He does leave in Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas. That's the one where he's an alcoholic.
Okay,
he's a fucking alcoholic.
Are you
in that.
sure? Are you sure it's not? I mean, so all right, so
yeah.
it's good. Wild at Heart. Are you sure that's not the one? I think it might be Leaving Las Vegas.
Well,
but
I don't
anyway.
know if it's Wild at
So he's
Heart,
in Leaving
no.
Las Vegas, which was a good movie and everything. And then the very next film, next year, 1996, The Rock,
Yeah.
Con Air, Face Off,
The big
City
ones.
of Angels,
City
Snake
of
Eyes.
Angels.
These are all dreadful. Gone in 60 Seconds.
What was that
Family
movie?
Man.
Yeah, Family Man.
Gone in 60
Oh.
seconds. That's a great movie.
Oh man, Family Man was fucking good, man. I like that. Legitimately, I thought that was a great movie. Like he nailed the role of having kids so well. Like, it was insane. He just looked so fucking.
Did
bummed
you
out.
see Wind Talkers?
What is that, like Zelda or something?
It's so bad. You wouldn't
Okay,
believe it.
listen. Nicolas Cage is the king of bad movies.
He's
Okay,
well, no.
you've got to understand that some of these movies are so
No,
bad
no,
they're
no,
very,
come on.
very watchable.
The king of bad movies clearly is Martin Lawrence.
Okay, he's it's a tied. The thing about Nicolas Cage is that he's always had money problems. He's been so bad with money that he's just had to take on any old shit. And he's still today, he's had to do loads of films every year, just any work that comes along. He did 7 films in 2016. He's doing 7 films in 2017. He's doing more films per year than ever before.
He's just slamming them out.
He is. He's just whacking them out.
Not all of them even make it to the cinema.
He does Matchstick Men, which was a really good movie. I really like Matchstick Men. That's a con movie, right? And that's a good one. Adaptation was very well received. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't
pretty
for me.
good. That was
Yeah.
he was the that writer. What's his name again?
Charlie Kaufman.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That was fucking great.
That was an incredible
Adaptation
movie.
was really good.
But then, if you look at the stuff like USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage, is meant to be so fucking bad. I desperately want to see it because it's that bad. Like, it's really, really bad. I don't know what it is. It's like he did some deal with Satan. I swear to God, with Satan. I think I could prove it. That in 1996, something happened to Nicolas Cage where he made this promise to the devil that he would start making shit. And he never stopped. And it's like occasionally he does something good, and the devil is right there on the phone. Nick, it's Satan. I thought I told you. No good movies. I'm sorry, Satan. I promise I won't
What
make
do you
another
call
good movie."
this, Nicholas? I just watched Adaptation and it wasn't terrible. What are you doing?
Gives it 7.2. 7.2, Nicholas. Pauline Kael said it was a must-see movie. This was not
That
the
voice
deal.
is his banker. That voice is his banker on the phone telling him his bank account's empty again.
Yeah.
And that's like his only choice.
Yeah, God, they're at the bank. Like, call him up and tell him you're Satan.
No, but
it's Nick Cage. He'll believe you.
And think of how many people depend on Nick Cage. He's like created his own microeconomy. He's got all these people that are supporting him that make money through him, sort of thing. And if it wasn't for Nick Cage doing bad movies and stuff, none of these people would have jobs. So
He's not Michael Jackson. He hasn't got like 30 hangers-ons.
These people are employed because Nicolas Cage's so bad.
What do you think? What do you think? Nicolas Cage has like an army of people, like
Yeah.
the way Michael, like fucking Mike
He
Tyson
totally
had
fucking
all
does.
those guys.
Nicolas
those
Cage is
hangers-on.
he's a fucking household name, man. Like everybody knows Nicolas Cage, like whether you want to or not. So yeah, of course he's gonna have people. He's got people
he's got an agent. I'm sure he's got a PA or two. But geez, it's not like he hasn't got like his.
He's got like an AC like OJ had. You know, he's got like one childhood friend who fucking loves him and is secretly gay for him and stuff that follows him around for sure. And he's probably got like a stylist and shit. Like he's got people for sure.
Did you know he lives in Somerset a lot of the time? Did you know that?
No,
Did you know his son is called Kal-El?
no, I did not know that. I don't need to know this stuff about Nick Cage either. Like, I'm quite happy just sort of like remembering him from Con Air and Adaptation.
All right, and you're
The
saying
Rock
he's
and
got
stuff.
trouble with money. He owns a string of properties, all right? He had castles in England and Germany, mansions in America, an island in the Bahamas, but these days he lives more modestly in a tiny cottage in Somerset.
Because he lost all his money. That's probably why.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think he's a weird guy. Anyway, he sold his Action Comics 1, didn't he, for about $2 million, I read somewhere. Action Comics, like the first Superman. Is that the first appearance of Superman ever?
Maybe.
And from like the 30s.
Was it? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
I
was.
think
Yeah,
so.
Action Comics #1. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
because
like
it's
a real
Detective
famous.
Comics #1. Is that the first appearance of Batman? I think because there's Action Comics and there's Detective Comics, which became DC.
Oh, is that where DC comes
Yeah,
from?
yeah.
Detective Comics. I never knew that.
Man, I'm kind of sick. I'm
Wow.
kind of sick of Batman. Honestly, like he's just such a fucking whiny bastard, isn't he? And like his
Oh my goodness.
he's been around for so long, and his story is so known and everything, and they're always trying to elaborate on it a little bit more and stuff. And I'm just at the point now where I'm like, you know what, Batman, I'm done with you. Like, give me a new superhero. I'm done. I'm over the bats. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
I think you've just grown up a bit, though.
Well,
Do you know what I
maybe,
mean?
but-
And also, Batman sort of tried. He's evolved. You know, he's not the world's greatest detective. No one thinks of Batman as the world's greatest detective, do they? That's Sherlock Holmes.
He's like the
kind of thing.
world's
Do you know what I mean?
greatest crybaby now. I mean, geez, like
He
how
is.
long ago did his parents die in Gotham City at the hands of the Joker? Like, I mean, fucking get over it already. Like, think of all the things that he must have done between that happening and now. And you think that he would have like pushed past it slightly, but no, he's still like, fuck Batman. I'm sick of that guy.
But the Joker has evolved like to be a great character kind of over the years.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
first of all, it's interesting that you say that his parents died at the hands of the Joker, because that's not the case. His parents died at the
No.
hands of just some no good hoodlum.
Random criminal. Yeah.
And I think it was only in the abysmal Michael Keaton Batman movies where
What
it was actually the
Are
Joker.
you talking abysmal?
I'm telling you, it was terrible. It was
Fucking
awful.
Prince did the soundtrack to that movie. What are you talking about, abysmal?
I love Prince. All right,
I think mediocre is the word you were looking for.
No,
abysmal
abysmal.
is too strong a term
it's not.
for that.
I
I
stand by
thought
it.
Keaton was a good Batman. I thought
I
he
thought
was
he
okay.
was terrible. Did you
And
not
what-
see Birdman? That was all about his role in Batman. That's why they cast Michael Keaton, desperately trying to get away from his fucking past as Batman. Everyone's like, oh, hey, it's Batman, and he's fucking sick of it. And he wants to be a serious actor. That's what Birdman was all about to me.
Right. I never saw Birdman. It's actually on Netflix. I should watch it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a great
I've
movie.
been slowly watching Django Unchained recently, which is honestly great. Like, I forgot how excellent dialogues were in Tarantino films, and the dialogues in Django have been really.
It's a good
fucking
movie.
Great.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
That German guy is fantastic. Holy
Christopher
shit!
Waltz, I think
He's
his name is.
so fucking good
He's great.
in that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Such a good movie so far. I'm like halfway through it. I can't sit down and watch a whole movie anymore. Like I watch half an hour chunks of a movie now.
Jesus.
Like over the course of a week. Yeah. It's really bad.
Do you know what my friend Alan? He's a Bournemouth lad, straightforward guy, like a real straightforward guy. When it comes to movies, he knows what he likes, and he likes a very very small selection of movies. He likes Rocky, right? And
Right.
like the Rocky movies, basically.
Yeah.
And he likes a film called it's an 80s movie about the SAS.
Right.
It was called, I think it's called Where Eagles Dare. I think it's called something like that.
Okay.
But he will not watch the whole movie before work if he wants to get kind of pumped up because he's sick of going to work. He watches just the last 10 minutes of Rocky.
Oh,
He
man,
just
I was
pops
just
in
gonna
the
say,
VHS, watches the last 10 minutes, and he's ready for a day of work.
Rocky is like the original Rocky movies are like the ultimate pick me up movies though. Like they get you so pumped. Like I don't know what it is about it. Like they're just great movies. Like all of the like the original ones are really fucking good. Like I remember watching them. I think I watched like 3 back to back, like Rocky 1, 2, and 3 back to back one day.
Right.
With she wasn't my wife at the time. Actually, I think we were engaged at the time. Anyway, we were like lounging around and we watched all those three Rockies, sorry, back to back. And by the end of it, we were almost like fist fighting and we were whooping and cheering and stuff. Like it was great. Like we felt really good. It was nice. Like it was.
Who
really,
Dares Wins, by the way. Who Dares Wins.
Who Dares
It was
Wins.
called, yeah. It's a really weird movie. But
Nice.
so the Rocky movies actually got you pumped up?
Yeah, big
Do
time.
you like boxing?
Not really. Like I'm
Yeah.
not. I could take it or leave it. But I just thought the Rocky movies were really entertaining. Like they were just fucking so good.
I just wish he would keep his guard up just once, Rocky. I want his corner man there.
Yeah.
Rocky, for God's sake, keep your guard up. He just walks in.
back in there, champ.
But
Yeah.
all he's saying, his entire advice is just don't give up. Just get the fuck beaten out of you, and eventually
Yeah.
it's like Homer Simpson's boxing technique where he just soaks up the punches on his head. That's Rocky's boxing technique. At no point does he hold his hands up in front of his face in a traditional boxing style.
No,
That's
but
all he has to do. That's all he
he's
has
got
to do.
he's got that miracle second wind. He doesn't need to. He could take.
He would have
like,
been knocked the flip
biggest
out.
beating of his lifetime, and then out of the corner of his eye, he sees Adrian, and she's just like doing her thing. You know, she's just a fucking Philistine, like in the fucking crowd, and she's just so fucking backwards and stuff, and you could just see her cheering away, and Rocky feels sorry for her but loves her at the same time, and he's like, yeah, all right, fine, fuck it, Adrian, second win, baby, here it comes, boom, and then the uppercut. Fucking, oh man, it's so good.
Do you know what I heard? That which Rocky was it with the Russian guy, the guy who's like, I must break you, that guy. What is his name?
That's that Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, but he plays
Right.
what's his name in the Rock? He's the Russian guy. Remember?
Ivan Drago.
That's
Drago.
right. Yeah.
So, first of all, I saw Dolph Lundgren in a cash point queue in Portobello Road Market one time,
Nice.
which was kind of funny. But I also heard that when they were making that Rocky movie, Stallone said, "Yeah, Dolph, I want you to hit me for real. It'll look good on the film. Like, hit me for real. And Dolph Lundgren was like, okay, and punched him and broke his jaw. I'm pretty sure that's a true story. The internet will tell me otherwise, but I'm pretty sure that I think the dangerous part of the Rocky movies is that Stallone started to believe maybe I can just take a dozen punches to the head.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I can do it. And he did it. And Dolph Lundgren was like, just prove to him that if you actually got punched in the head, you'd get fucked up.
Yeah. Maybe that's why his like voice got like really slurry and like sort of drawly, like as time went on, sort of thing. Dolph just punched him a couple of times. I
have a surprise.
What?
Okay, so we were talking about doing a bodega special this week. This is interesting that we were talking about this. So just to give anyone some background on this, a teacher, I think he's in America, sent me a bunch of bodega stories that his class had written because he read them. One of the bodegas. I don't know which one he read, but he tidied it up a bit. He took smoking out and stuff like that. He took out all the swearing and stuff. Flav he left in because obviously that's cool. And he read them the story, and then he asked them to write their own stories, and they've written a bunch of stories, and he sent them to me. Okay, and one of them is called Nicolas Cage.
No fucking way.
So I want to see what this story. It's called Nicolas Cage. Do you want to hear it?
It's just that's the title of a bodega story. So hang on, how old are these children?
I think they're like 11 years old.
Right.
Okay.
So and he said to me that these kids are like, it's like an inner city school. The kids are, they're not generally excited by the idea of doing schoolwork the way most kids are at 11, I guess. But these kids were really genuinely excited to be able to write something, and they liked the bodega stories. And I mean, God only knows, if I was on the school board, this teacher would be in big trouble. I would say to him, you're meant to stick to the curriculum, Mr. Crabapple, not read bodegas, but fair play. It's what Bodega would have done. Anyway, here's the story. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
This is Bodega, special part 1.4 brackets Nicolas Cage. I don't know why it's called that.
1.4?
Well, yeah, that's it's listed as number 1.4.
Maybe he is a visionary and he sees Nicolas Cage potentially playing the role of Bodega in a future film.
Let's find out. Bodega's head felt groggy and faint as he shifted his fingers to turn the metal steering wheel of his spaceship. Maybe it was too many hefty cups of space coffee, for just the mere thought of the smooth ceramic of a mug against his lips felt disgusting and repulsive.
Man, this guy's already better than me at writing. What the fuck?
It was almost comical how the substance made to give him energy at this point only drew it from him. That's nice. Jake, can you cover me for a bit? I'm feeling under the weather, Bodega called to his assistant, his eyes feeling heavy and stomach tying itself into unsteadying knots. China, Jake replied, patting Bodega's shoulder and encouraging him to get up, taking his place. Jake grabbing the wheel excitedly as Bodega drudged towards his bunk. He threw himself onto his bed and let his eyes fall heavy, letting out a relieving breath. He drifted awake, a gentle face smiling over him. He furrowed his slicing brow, noticing that he'd never seen the handsome stranger's face before. Hello, sir, I am Nicolas Cage, he smiled, offering his hand to help Bodega out of his bed. Bodega took his hand and straightened his posture, looking around slightly suspiciously. Where's Jake? Bodega asked, picking up his hat off of the side table and placing it in the usual spot on his head. Jake is out looking for supplies, he stated kindly. While you were dozing off, he landed here. I saw this vessel and he let me in. Sad to say that he may be dead now, though. Bodega's smile dropped from his face. And why would that be? He asked, still in shock of what he was hearing. There's a pretty bad monster out there, one that eats people. Takes a few months to fully eat a corpse. You never really see it, but it comes back nightly to feed. Bodega hung his head.
Right.
It's a real shame, he responded. I'm sorry about him, Nick said apologetically. Space coffee? Bodega smiled. Only if you know how to make it, he grinned, walking towards the kitchen.
I don't know where this is going.
Well, you wait. Bodega started to notice, after several days, that Nick was trying to seduce him. Nick would flip his hair at him and wink, flexing proudly, this happening more often than he would like to admit. The animal might be on our basement now, Nick told him that day, so just don't go down there, trust me. Well, we'll find out. Weeks later,
like in suburbia somewhere making coffee for each other.
They're like on a spaceship and a house, I don't know. Weeks later, Bodega journeyed into the basement for more space coffee beans, forgetting what Nick had recommended. The stairs seemed creakier than usual. Peering around the corner, grabbing some coffee beans, out of the corner of his eye he saw a figure, its mouth splattered in blood, eating the remains of a corpse wearing a flannel shirt. The remains of Jake, Without hesitation,
No.
he drew his gun and fired 7 quick rounds, shooting the creature onto the ground. As he approached the corpse, a horrified look glided across his face. The monster was Nick! Tears bloomed into his eyes, falling onto the ground like rain, flowing down his face like water out of a sink. Nick, he mumbled, wiping his face, failing to stop the tears. All at once, he noticed how much he loved Nick, how much he'd paid to taste his delicious burned space coffee just one more time. He picked up Nick's head, allowing his tears to drip on his rested, beautiful face. Bodega had been so foolish. He'd fallen deeply in love with Nicolas Cage, and now his heart had snapped in two. His girlfriend was nothing. Jake was nothing. But Nick could never become nothing. Nick's blood was on his hands. It was his fault. He felt like he was going to throw up. He was truly, sickly, stupidly in love. The end.
Why was he eating Jake? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, did Nicolas Cage love Bodega
I don't
too?
know.
I think he was
that why he
flirting with
didn't
him and
eat him?
stuff, wasn't he? So like probably. Or maybe he was seducing him with the intent to kill him and eat him.
What a terrific story.
That was great. Who wrote that?
That
Can we get a
was-
round of applause for what's his name though?
Author of Nicolas Cage, The Bodega Story.
Yeah,
we haven't got the name, but whoever you are, that was
oh,
magnificent.
you're the best. Holy shit. Thank you for the
Oh my god.
comedy cramps. That was great. Oh god.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, I don't know how we're going to top that now. I think that's... We just
Yeah.
They're all-
all right.
they're all
Well,
like that.
see you guys next week then. Thanks
Yeah,
for
bye.
listening.
Thanks for watching the
That's half an hour.
podcast.
We're gonna be in trouble, yeah. Oh shit, that was good. What a great way to wrap up a conversation about Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
It had a lot of soaring highs and really dipping lows, and then just to crown it with that story. That was something special. I feel better than I felt after watching 3 Rocky movies back to
I
back.
feel like I'm not going to be able to look at Nicolas Cage the same way now.
No.
I feel like I now, in my mind, he's a seductress who is
Yeah.
also a man-eater. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, and that was pretty good. That
Yeah.
writing is way better than anything I could ever write. Like,
I think my
terrible.
favorite part is that some of the metaphors don't actually make sense, or they're not the right word. You know what he's going for, or she is going for. And I'm like, I know what you're trying to say here. You just haven't quite got the vocabulary.
I think it's
For
something...
it.
I think it's quite beautiful.
Yeah, no,
though.
it's
You know,
interesting.
The choice of words.
Like, but they say he drudged towards his bed. It should be trudged, but drudged towards his bed also sounds interesting.
works.
It
It
sounds
sounds
interesting.
good,
Like,
yeah.
I immediately know what they're saying. It's interesting, and I like the way his eyes feeling heavy and stomach tying itself into unsteadying knots. That's actually really interesting. I like that. I thought the use of metaphor. I give it an A. I give it an A. But like he furrowed his slicing brow. That's really interesting. I
know
mean, that's
what?
not how I'd put it, but I know what he meant.
I got a lot of respect for you, Flax. It takes a real man because honestly, if I was the creator and writer of Bodega and I saw something like that come along, I gotta say I would be a bit apprehensive and I would try to take it down a peg or two, like because I wouldn't want
this is
people
no good.
thinking like this
This
guy
isn't
is going to
canon.
be the new. Yeah, exactly. But you're like, yeah, A plus. This guy's great. You know, he can write the rest of them for me and stuff. No problem. I think that takes
Interesting. Yeah.
big cojones. Yeah.
Do you want to do any more? Have we got any more?
Yeah, we
to
got
go
loads.
through?
You want another one?
I think we should do
Okay.
them. Yeah, they're
So, all right, let me read you the titles, okay?
Okay.
And you can tell me. So,
Okay.
all right, read first. This is the message from the teacher, Jake.
Read first.
Sorry, I forgot to read this first. Just wanted
All
to
right.
see what you've created in the state.
So the teacher is called Jake.
Teacher's called Jake. Yeah. So
Oh,
some
right.
notes.
So Nick Cage was eating the teacher.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Wow.
His assistant Jake. So that was a joke about at the teacher's expense. Okay, I get it now. So
Yeah.
And I think maybe hang on, I'm just trying to get into his mind. Maybe he's thinking of Bodega as like a movie, and he sees Nick Cage in so many bad movies. That's why he's in Bodega.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he means Nick Cage's character, I
Yeah,
guess.
maybe.
But maybe he just thinks Nick Cage is a sort of a movie person who is in movies. Do you see what I mean? Because he's in so many things.
I
he's
mean,
in everything.
yeah, maybe. So these kids are.
Maybe he's just maybe every movie this kid has watched ever has had Nick Cage in it.
Yeah.
And therefore he just assumes that Nick Cage is part of every
And
story.
he plays himself.
Man,
yeah.
how weird would that be? You know, like when people are homeschooled and stuff, you always think like, what are they actually teaching somebody like at homeschooling? Imagine this kid is like the only movies he's ever seen in his entire life have had Nick Cage in them and no
Oh,
other movies.
that poor
How
kid.
fucking fucked up would that be? Jesus.
So first of all, he says some notes. Space vaping has been replaced with space coffee.
Right.
Only a few of them know about Bodega's Squeeze Majesta. And the kids love Sips' Donald Trump impersonation when he says, China! So you see that a lot, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
Yeah. He's just like putting some memes in there.
That's why, yeah. He just put China! So other notes, these kids are, there's a 6th to 7th grade. So that's like 11, right? 10, 11?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I was still wearing track pants at that age. Like,
right.
Every fucking day.
So here's the most surprising piece of information. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
We are in the process of creating Bodega the Musical for next spring's performance class.
Right.
Which is a startling piece of information. You guys have made kids excited about doing well and finishing their state testing. They're at an inner city school, so these kids are like, they're not generally excited about school. So for some reason, this has made them interested, which is great. I mean, that's incredible. I'm very happy about that. My administration loved the idea of creative character development and that the kids wanted to work after state testing. So they did their work and then they wanted to do this. Like they actually enjoyed doing it. They wanted to do it. So I think that is wonderful. So
that's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah. So here's one called, so I'll read you the titles. You tell me which one you want to hear.
All right.
Space Feminist.
Yes. Go. Straight away.
Wait, you don't even
just
know.
Go.
The Glorgaflop.
No, space feminist for me. I want the feminist one.
You want to hear this one? Because one of them's called Booty Hole. Are you sure you don't want to hear the one called Booty Hole?
Booty Hole. Yeah, go Booty Hole.
We have to go through all of them.
Yeah. All right, let's do Space Feminist. I read this one on stream the other night, and it's gold.
Okay, go.
This is a short one. This is written by a young girl, okay?
Okay.
Smoke filled the undercrowded space warehouse, and Bodega was sweating. He breathed in and out, testing the waters and stepping out from behind the large package of illegally ground space coffee. His home base had been infiltrated by a band of radical space feminists opposed to the illegal space coffee trade. Bodega didn't understand their end game, but wouldn't back down without a fight. He stepped into the mist, and a split second later was grabbed and held with a cosmic knife to his throat. He heard a voice. Thy last words, Bodega. But wait, it was a man's voice. Bodega kicked back, aiming straight for the soft spot. Boom! Right in the baby maker. The man groaned, overcome with pain. What are you, a space feminist? Said Bodega. What? Said the man. And in 0.2 seconds, a tall woman with a red bandana scooped up the man. She lowered the mask. Sorry, this is a dangerous misogynist from the planet Misogynia. We had to remove him from the streets before he hurts more women. I guess you thought you were one. Well, good day. She jumped away as there was very low gravity on the planet. Bodega didn't really know how to feel and suddenly started thinking of why his girlfriend cheated on him. Oh well, he continued with his business. The end.
Oh my god! That was amazing.
I know.
Holy shit.
So that was so there's Bodega's End, which I guess is about the death of Bodega, The Pirate King, Confrontation, The Crash, Origins of Bodega, Booty Hole, one that the teacher is listed as I am not really sure, one called Memory, one called Pussycat, Pussycat, Where Are You, and one called Bodega's Hair, brackets, I think this kid does drugs.
Yeah, do that one. Right. I want to hear that one.
All right. Bodega was a strand of hair. He became detached from his human. Then he got a human girlfriend. While he went to the store, she got married and had a stupid child. Then he moved to some stranger's back. He worked as a person who smuggled lice into people's hair. He wanted revenge. One day, he smuggled lice into his ex's hair. She got mad. Then he found out that the child was his. He needed more space coffee. He was a space coffee-holic. He yelled at his girlfriend, specifically the song Billie Jean, and his ex, Bodega, stunned him. He said, you have to do that, and ate a crayon. Because of all the space coffee, he had to throw up, but didn't know where that bathroom was, so he threw up upon Mr. Ezzo. Ah, yelled Mr. Ezzo. That's the teacher, Jake Ezzo. Right. China, said Bodega. Bodega's girlfriend said, give me some cop. Then they held hands and fell in love. Bodega was alone again, but then he fell in love with female Bodega's boyfriend. They raised the child into a full-grown hare. The end.
Man, that guy is like the next up-and-coming Twitch chat superstar. For
That's
sure.
That's nuts, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That is proper nuts.
That is bananas. Yeah. Okay. That was
Let's do Booty Hole. Let's do Booty Hole.
Yeah, Booty Hole.
Okay. This is a short one.
I'm ready.
It's like 2 paragraphs. It was 2 years since Bodega caught his girlfriend cheating on him. He was so depressed he took his own spaceship that he built and went up. He had 4 years worth of food and water. He made it up and it's been 2 years. He came back. just to find out that everyone thought he was dead. He wasn't in the mood for this. He went to the police station and went there. When he walked in, everyone gasped and then cheered. They called his girlfriend and she rushed in. When she got there, he said, "Fuck off, booty hole!" He chilled out and talked to the booty hole. She talked about how much she missed him, but he rejected her and yet again told her to fuck off. She left and told him, "I'm sorry. I hate her," he thought to himself. He was outraged. OMG, he was so angry. The end.
Oh my God. Are they allowed to
language.
use colorful language in?
Well,
That
it was
was-
asterisked out.
Okay. So it could have actually been like
Oh.
shit off, or maybe
No,
like.
it was like F***K.
Oh, right.
So,
I see.
yeah.
Flav
Flarv.
off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they
they're not-
could have dropped a flav in there.
They could have dropped a Flarv or two. Yeah.
Jesus
Man, Booty
Christ.
Hole. It was pretty. I still think the feminist
don't-
one is the best one so far, though. That was
All right,
crazy.
what about Bodega's End? Should we try that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Nicolas Cage is the best one for me.
Oh,
by
yeah, that
far.
was fun.
That was great.
actually. Holy shit.
Bodega and Majesta had been best friends since birth. They were next door neighbours and spent every day after school together. As they grew older, they grew deeper in love. Both of their families could not afford to provide college, so they decided to work together to stay afloat. When NASA made public applications for people to move to the moon with all expenses paid off, they jumped on it in an instant. Bodega and Majesta lived happily on the moon commune for many years, but many years is not forever. That's great. I love that. War fell upon the two moon colonies. In an effort to stop their family of two from falling into poverty, Bodega began smuggling people from the moon back to Earth.
Right.
Little did he know, hyperspeed spacecraft had ripped a hole in space-time. After a round of people smuggling, Bodega was on his usual route coming home. When he arrived, there was a strange moon buggy in the driveway.
Oh my God.
Hang on a second.
He walked in and yelled, "Honey, I'm home!" A woman walked out of the kitchen. It was Majesta, 8 years older than the last time he saw her. I thought you were dead, she said. "How long has it been?" he responded. 8 years. Oh my God. He ran as her new boyfriend shot a laser shotgun towards him, yelling, "Get away from my baby!" Bodega went to the Space Coffee bar and drank his feels away. Space coffee gets you brackets. Space coffee gets you extremely high. He went to the moon spacecraft exit, clicked the open button, and floated away. He had no spacesuit. The end. Oh man!
Oh my God. He committed suicide.
When you come home
Holy
to
fucking
your
shit.
moon base,
That is my favourite one so far.
That's not my moon buggy. Oh wow!
Holy shit.
I mean, but I like the idea that infidelity is the same on Earth as it is if you're on the moon. Like you still
man.
see some stranger's moon buggy parked and be like, "That's not my moon buggy. Who the fuck is this?"
Oh,
see
anytime-
someone's spacesuit. Oh.
Anytime anyone mentions colonizing the moon, I just think, man, I hope I'm alive to be able to live on the moon one day. Even if it's just for like a week or something. Like, I think that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I would love to live on the moon.
shit internet
Temporarily.
though. Think of the ping you'd get.
Oh man, who cares? Like, you're on the moon, you get to like look at the Earth from a different perspective and stuff. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, I would love to do that. Sign me up, NASA. Come on.
After 2 days, you'd be bored of it.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know. That's
moon.
why I would only want to go there temporarily. I'd want to come
Yeah.
back and stuff. But like, I just think that would be incredible.
I think people would be like, "Oh, what did you do last year? Oh, we went to the moon. Yeah, we had a whole week on the
Yeah.
moon. Well, what was it like? Yeah, it was good, but it was good to get back. I tell you what, there's really not much to do up there. It really is just
I was
the
watching
moon.
this series on Netflix called The Expanse, and it's like it's about Earth, Mars, and the moon has been colonized by Earth as well. But Mars has like separated off and become like their own sort of like federation or whatever. And
Right.
it's really tense between Earth and Mars.
Sounds fairly normal, yeah.
But
for
I
these
love
things.
like I love in like shows like that and sci-fi like that where occasionally they return to Earth, right? And the United Nations runs Earth now. And they return to Earth and they visit like a cattle ranch in Montana and like not much has changed. It's like really, really familiar. Like there's no like high-tech electrical doodads or whatever sort of thing. So like people on Earth are just still chilling, but there's like all these colonies like on the moon and there's these big space stations and shit and like colonies all over Mars. And I want to live to get to that point where we're doing all that. Like that'd be great.
It's always the same, isn't it? Like people always assume that the space stuff will be the same as Earth stuff, but in
Yeah.
space, right? So like like spaceships are just like boats, ordinary ships with the captain and the captain's log and all that crap. And when we build a colony on Mars, eventually they're going to rebel against us and have their uprising because it's like the colonies again. It's like, we're going to have our own constitution on Mars and founding fathers on Mars. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, but everyone assumes that.
I'm cool with that, though. I'd be up for that.
Why would that happen, though? The world's changed much. Like,
has it, Lewis?
Well,
Yeah,
have
Lewis.
people changed?
Why don't you tell me about this change that you've witnessed?
Did you just listen to Michael
No.
Jackson's Man in the Mirror? And when he said, I want to make a change for once in my life.
I've still got tears in my eyes from those bodega stories, man.
Do you want another one?
Some
Do you
of
want
those
another
were
one?
just
Yeah.
so
Hit me.
glorious. Are there more?
Yeah, there's more. Okay.
Oh, God.
This
Keep
one's
them coming,
called-
baby. It's like crack. It's like space coffee.
Are any of them as good as Booty Hole? Because
I've only read two. I literally only read Space Feminist and the Glorgaflop. I didn't read any of the rest of these.
read that one, the Gorgaflop.
Let's have
All right.
Glorgaflop. Yeah.
This is quite a long one, but it's good. Okay. This kid really got into the making shit up that makes no sense.
Oh,
Okay, so
that's the best
I
part
know.
of bodega.
one day, a Malbratostafor named Bodega was walking to a coffee shop
Jesus.
in space to get his favorite drink, space coffee.
Right.
He was on his way to work. He worked for the Pirate Academy.
Right.
He had to teach kids how to defy gravity and soar the seas in space. They have to press the no gravity button on the ship and sail the stars, as Bodega liked to say. He passed by a ring shop and thought back to a time where he fell in love with a human girl. It was a balmy day, and Bodega was going to Earth for a short visit to see what Earth coffee really tasted like. Everyone on Earth had never seen a Malbratostafor before, so they thought Bodega was hideous and fled in fear that he would eat their brains out or something in that category. After all, he was a disgusting shade of green, had 3 eyeballs but only 2 sockets, and had not mouth. Bracket, he breathed through his butt.
Of course. Where else would you breathe
Then
through if
he-
you had no mouth?
Then he passed by a park which was very calm and peaceful. There was a human girl sitting on a step stool painting a portrait of the lake with the trees. At the time, he had never seen a tree. The tree the girl was painting actually happened to look a lot like the Malbratostafor's biggest enemy, the Glorgaflop. They were hideous
Right.
beasts about the size of a tree. Bodega was frightened, so he went over to warn the girl. First, he had to destroy her painting because then there would be no proof of Glorgaflop on Earth, which everyone knew wasn't true until now. He had to hide the evidence. Bodega went over to the girl and ripped her painting to shreds. He looked into her gorgeous eyes and knew that she was the one. He found out her name was Majesta after she yelled at him for ripping up the painting and explaining to him what a tree really is. Later that year, Majesta and Bodega were a happy couple. But something was definitely off. Bodega wasn't feeling very in love anymore, so he went back to space to visit his family and his childhood friends. When he went back to Earth, he found out that Majesta had married another man and had a baby. Bodega wasn't too unhappy about it since he wasn't feeling it anymore with Majesta. They said their space goodbye, and to this day never seen each other again. Back to present time, Bodega went into the space coffee shop only to find out they were all out of space coffee, but that there'd been a new creation called Jupiter Juice. He tried it and spit it in the cashier's face. It was the most disgusting thing Bodega had ever tasted in his whole life. This day wasn't very well for Bodega. He knew something was up. He took out his rifle, vaporized the cashier, and walked outside with a tip of his hat. All of a sudden, the Glorgaflop swooped down from space and attacked the village. Bodega punched one of them in the face. He'd completely forgotten that if you hit them or punch them, they grow back another feature. This time, the beast grew back a tail with sharp thorn-like spikes. The alien continued to swing the humongous tail into Bodega's face. Meanwhile, on Earth, Majesta was imprisoned by the Glorgaflop Queen. Tell me, what do you do to him? I want him back. Don't you understand? Do I need to spell it out? WANTHIMBACK. To be continued.
Wow.
Wow. So what? The Glorgaflop Queen wants Bodega? Is that the?
No, I think the Glorgaflop Queen. Did she take Majesta and Majesta's telling the Queen that she wants Bodega back, or the other way around? I can't be sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, how is Kieran going to animate these?
God only knows. They're so good.
Yeah, these are really good. Man, how come I can't write like this? Do you have to practice or something? Like, is it just a
I think
calling?
so.
Like, I could never write like this.
Do you read much?
Yeah, I read enough. Yeah, I think if I wrote stuff, it would just go off into these awful tangents that would make no sense, and I would never be able to get back to the point.
If you listen to any of the stories that we've had today, they bounce around all wildly, Sips. It doesn't matter. It's like just get it out on paper. Get your brain down on paper.
I find these like fairly coherent though. Like they're not.
Really?
Yeah. Ish.
They're bonkers, dude. They're fabulous.
The
but they're
Nicolas
bonkers.
Cage one was pretty good.
Well,
It was pretty tight. Like it didn't really flop around too much.
it's true.
Oh, that Nicolas Cage one was absolutely spectacular.
It really
That's
was,
going to have me giggling all week.
I
actually.
love these stories, right? I can absolutely imagine my kids writing
So
stories like
these
these.
kids are 11, right? That are writing.
They're like
these?
10 or 11. Yeah, they're around there.
Man,
like, so my
that's so
eldest is
cool.
in, I think it would be called 3rd grade. Okay.
Right.
So in 3 years' time, she'll be like 10 going on 11. And these are exactly the kind of things that she would write. Like, there's certain things that all the kids seem to be obsessed with. They're all obsessed with people falling in love. That's consistent in pretty much every story, right?
Memes.
Sips saying China. Like, for some reason, that really tickled them. I think that's funny. Infidelity. Most of the stories feature some kind of infidelity or a relationship falling apart. And I'm thinking this must be the kind of TV shows that kids see. They see this kind of stuff happening. And they just think, that must just be part of life. You know what I mean? Like
I guess,
they're all writing about it, and they're all kind of violent, but none of them have been like. I can imagine what my class at school at this age would have come up with. It would have been
they would be
violent.
so
It would have
gory.
been really
they would have
violent,
described the gunshots in great detail.
But it would have been done on purpose to like, you know, because if you had to present it to the class or whatever, you would have gone out of your way to make it like especially violent and gory sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
So that, like, your
but I mean,
teacher
I
would just
reckon
be
these have
like,
been read out. I reckon these have been read out because there are jokes in there. Like the jokes about, like there's a, you know, the teacher crops up often, doesn't he? Like there's characters called Jake and stuff. And that's kind of funny. I like that. It's because it's obviously they want to do it and see the teacher's face and all the kids will be laughing. It's like a little gag that they've got within the class.
It is odd. I mean, I wonder what the teacher has shared with the class. I wonder if the teacher has put himself into Bodega stories. Do you know what I mean? I wonder whether, like...
No, apparently not.
Sometimes people like...
He said he just read them, some of them. Like,
I'm only messing with him. I'm sure he hasn't.
Maybe they did a thing where like one kid wrote the story and then like another kid had to read it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so they
maybe.
were like stitching each other up a bit.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we used to have to do stuff like that at school. I remember it was pretty fun.
Of course.
Like somebody would write a story and then you'd have to read it for them. And, you know, like you'd get up there and you wouldn't know what to expect. And you'd start reading. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe fucking put Nick Cage in the story and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's true.
So we did mention The Rock, right? And one of the best fan theories about The Rock is that Sean Connery in it is still playing James Bond.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
And when you watch the movie with that in your mind, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I got to watch that again now. That sounds great. That sounds like a fresh new spin on The Rock for me. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I thought The Rock was like, I don't know, it's a good, bad movie. That's the thing.
That's the best way to describe it. It's a good, bad movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. Shit, I wonder if I want to watch that.
Have you seen Roadhouse?
No, I haven't.
Patrick
Who's in
Swayze plays a right. This is if you haven't seen Roadhouse,
1989.
it is a wonderfully bad movie. One of my favorite bad movies. So there's like a club, a bar, a real shit kicking bar. It's out of control. The owner needs a special bouncer to come in and set everything right because there's like the bouncers are running drugs. There's lots of sex going on in it, like between the bouncers and stuff. It's completely out of control. And they bring in Patrick Swayze, and he brings in that guy who always plays a cowboy, Sam. God, what's his name? He's got a big mustache 90% of the time. He was in Parks and Rec as the sort of anti
Sam Elliott.
Oh, does he have a really deep voice and he looks a bit like Ted Glenn?
Yeah, exactly. He's like that.
Yeah.
He's in The Big Lebowski.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dude abides. That guy.
Yeah.
So he's in it, and he's like Patrick Swayze's mentor. So they come in to clean up the bar, and it's just the most bizarre story because by doing this, somehow this attracts the ire of the local supervillain who lives in a massive mansion on the other side of the river, and the town that he has under his sway, which has apparently paid for this mansion and all these millions of dollars that he's got, is like the tiniest one-horse town with like one street, and this guy just fucks up like a local car dealership with a monster car and stuff, and Patrick Swayze is like really out for revenge and stuff, and it's just the weirdest movie, but it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. It's like whoever made the movie clearly knew that Patrick Swayze at that point in 1989 was a big heartthrob. So there's like needless shots of Patrick Swayze getting out of the bathtub, just flexing his muscles and stuff. It's so bad. It's hilarious. I love it. I absolutely love that movie. So that is a good bad movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a bunch of them. Like
I'll check
there's-
that one out. Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
I think I might have seen it, but it sounds familiar. But I
We
don't
always
know.
talk about
89,
Kieran's
I
got
mean.
all these great recommendations for good bad movies to.
Yeah,
to
what was that
watch.
other one that you said? Battleship or something?
Battlefield Earth,
And Battlefield Earth
terrible.
is
which is
Yeah.
amazing because that's like when Scientology was like at its peak of like it was everywhere. You know, you couldn't stop reading about it. There was a big panic about it, and all the celebrities and everything. I mean, I haven't seen Tom Cruise and Scientology and all that shit all over the news in ages. Like it's not what it was. Like back then, you know, when the South Park did their big rip on it and everything, and Battlefield Earth came out. I think it was actually quite a while ago, and it was obviously the hip thing for celebrities to do was to get into Scientology. And like, what's his name? John Travolta, Forrest Whitaker, and what's that guy's name? Barry Pepper. They're all Scientologists, and they're all in the movie. And it's a bit like if you ever watched a religious movie, like when Mel Gibson made The Passion, right?
Passion
Mel
of the Christ.
Gibson's a massive,
Yeah.
massive religious nut. Like he's one of those one of those cats it's called that tie like a leather strap around their legs, so they're constantly in pain to remind them of Jesus's sacrifice or everything. Like they're religious loons. Okay, so
Yeah.
these guys are Scientologist religious loons, and they've made this movie, and they're taking it so seriously, and it's really. They're trying to really say something with this movie, and it's just unbelievable. They have cavemen flying jet planes at the end of the movie. Okay, that's basically what happens at the denouement. You have
okay.
you have John Travolta shooting the legs off a field of cows. You have it's just bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. You couldn't describe it. You have to see it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Nice.
Holy crap. Well, that's what we got time for this week, actually, on the Triforce podcast. It's been a real good one. I
Man,
really enjoyed
those
it.
bodegas were great. Holy shit, they were so funny.
Yeah, we've
Oh my
got
God,
more
they're
for
so
next
good.
time. We've got more for
I
next
can't
time.
wait.
Big
Yeah.
up to the teacher and all those kids. Hey,
Well done, guys.
done, guys. You did
Yeah.
it.
Well done.
It's really
Shout
good.
out to all of you guys out there supporting the Triforce podcast. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Goodbye.